Hi, my name is Brenda Nordstrom. I am on faculty for the Baker College School of Nursing, Muskegon campus. This presentation is a windshield survey of Iquitos, Peru. It is part of the Global Health chapter in the Community Health Nursing for the BSN student. We're going to start off looking at the country of Peru in South America. Note that Lima, Peru is on the coastal area, and that is the capital of Peru. We are going to eventually get to Iquitos. Iquitos is up here next to the Amazon River. It is unique in that it is the largest city that you can only get to via plane or boat. You cannot drive your car to Iquitos. Of note is that Lima is the central hub of Peru, meaning that far as taking flights or plane trips, you need to go through Lima. You cannot take a plane from Iquitos to Cusco or Machu Picchu. You have to first go to Lima. So regardless of the city you are in, you have to do Lima, and then you go out to your city, go back to Lima. So when we wanted to go to Iquitos to Cusco, we had to take the plane to Lima, switch planes, go to Cusco, just like the Lima is basically the hub of a wheel. Note that Peru has 3 different climate types. We have the coastal region. We then have the mountain Andes region, and it can get quite cold, of course, up in the mountains. And then you have the rainforest, where it is hot and muggy almost all of the time, with Iquitos being in the Amazon basin. When you first get into Lima, this is the view of the coast. A lot of commerce, merchant ships coming and going. You've got some tourists, recreation type stuff. It is a very beautiful coastline, a little bit different than what we're used to here in the US, but again, very beautiful. You'll notice there are high-rises, apartment buildings all along the coast. This is pretty much where the more wealthy residents of Peru or Lima would live. Once you get into the city of Lima, you'll start to notice more related to the poverty. The houses are built right into the hillsides, and it's just, I had never seen anything like it before. It was just very unique the way they build their homes right on top of each other and right inside the hills. What's unique is that in Lima, or Peru in general, it's considered a sign of wealth to be in the city. So no matter what your house looks like, as long as you are in the city limits, you are considered better off than those that are living out in the country. But take note as you're doing your windshield survey, are there any health issues that you may see here? Any concerns that you may have? Notice the electrical wires, any safety issues. What about children, elderly? Housing, how do you feel that the housing foundations might be? Once you're in the city, in the where all the shops are, you're going to see these little motor carts, and that is their version of a taxi, these little 3-wheel vehicles. There's also a lot of street vendors. You've got a mechanic shop. Very common to see clothing items hung up on top of the buildings, a lot of wear, a lot of basically just general falling apart and decomposition. It's just kind of really sad to see. And this is a cart selling food, and you'll notice the line back here of people. They're waiting to get inside to the local bank. They only allow so many people in a bank at a time. You've got an armed guard standing outside, and as one person leaves, then another one can go in. Crime is very high, and the city of Lima keeps a very strong military and police presence in the tourist district in order to encourage tourists to come and to spend their money. I believe Congress was in session, so there may have been a little bit more than usual, but still, all these pictures were taken on the same day, just during a little walking trip around the tourist district, the historical district. For me, this was the first time I had seen a police tank. I understand we have some in the US, but I had never seen one before, so I thought that was quite fascinating. A lot of homelessness, but even our homeless have dogs, so I just thought it was cute the way they tried to keep their dogs warm. And they had a cultural festival, so some of the people were in the native cultural dress. This home right here, the yellow building, is where I stayed. Notice the gates, and at night the cars are driven into the courtyard and locked up behind the gates for security reasons. The wall here actually has glass cemented right into the top of the wall to prevent people from climbing over the wall. And then, of course, you've got your barbed wire. Another map of Peru with Lima, and we are going to now leave Lima and go to the Laredo district. And again, Iquitos, notice all of the rivers that surrounds Iquitos. When you get to Iquitos, this is a very typical town. I guess it would be the equivalent of our suburb. But this is the way the majority of the area looks. And their motor carts they're not fully enclosed. They have a little vinyl soft roof and siding in the back. And if it's raining, you might get some on the other sides. But it's pretty much you're out in the open and the wind gets to blow through your hair. In fact, I was actually riding in one when I took this picture. A roadside fruit and veggie stand. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure what this is, but it could very easily be garbage. They have trenches for when the water comes to help drain off some of the water. This is a roadside cafe, and if you notice this bottle right here, this is what's called Inca Cola. And Inca Cola is the drink of choice. It is like a cream soda. It's very high in sugar, but because the water is so bad, they drink a lot of pop, and Inca Cola is the primary one that they drink. Sometimes they do drink regular Coca-Cola, but for the most part it's Inca Cola. Or juice. They do drink a lot of juice too. During the rain, again, you've got garbage, you've got the rainwater washing dirt and mud. Look at the little rain cover here. You've got the motor carts. What they do when it rains is it's on a little stick and they pull that up. And many times they'll only leave themselves like 2 or 3 inches to see, which definitely cuts down on their vision when they're driving. But the road laws are pretty much just guidelines here anyway. Again, note the dirty water, the garbage, dogs. Dogs are everywhere. They don't necessarily belong to anybody. They're constantly scavenging for food, so they get into the garbage. The garbage trucks just go down the road and pick up what's on the corners, so people drop their garbage off in regular plastic bags, and then these dogs get in them and just shred it up and throw garbage everywhere because they're trying to get food. Again, you can see the water traveling down the roads with the trash. This particular lady here is, she's one of the ladies involved in the sex trade. She is at the plaza where they go every night. One of the groups that I worked with was a group called Hefsiba, and Hefsiba is working with a group of women in the sex trade and also with women who are at risk of abuse. And so we spent some time with these ladies. You'll notice, different ages. They really don't get paid a whole lot, but prostitution is considered a legitimate business here. In fact, one of the women did, like her husband dropped her off, and that's just considered her job. She watched the kids during the day, he watched the kids at night, and that was her job. Prostitution, alcoholism, drug use, just general violence, domestic violence, child abuse, all of those are very high in this area. Then we have the poor town. This is like the poorest of the poor villages here. Notice the garbage in the water. People just throw trash out the window. A lot of them don't seem to understand the need to collect your trash. They're up on stilts because during the rainy season, the water gets at least that high. And then you've got your outhouse here. So if this is your outhouse during the dry season, imagine what's going on with the sewage during the rainy season. Again, an outhouse and another outhouse here. This gentleman here is mowing his lawn with a machete. Children just running in flip-flops through all this junk. We have a building. Tessie here runs a ministry to help these kids, not just on a spiritual level, but also food and clothing. And you'll notice the building is very typical, but it's got open areas, and that's very common. And we were told not to stand in one place because we could potentially fall through the floor. This is the market. We've got fish and, of course, fruit. These little guys, some sort of grub. They fry them up and eat them. Notice as far as they cook the food for people and they just sit on banana leaves. Roasted plantains are a very big part of their meals. If you were to go down the river, a lot of bathing and washing in the river. And again, this was dry season, so the water level is low. We did get to spend some time at a fish farm. Our hosts happened to have a fish farm. But notice the color of the water. That is very typical for the Amazon area. Is a very dark, dirty, muddy water. If you take a shower afterwards, the dirt just kind of rolls right off you. So there's the fish. And of course, children are involved in just about everything. This is an Amazon crib. You take a hammock and just put some sticks in there to hold it apart. Roasting some plantains. And that's my daughter Tabitha after eating her yummy fish. She was showing me how it was done. But I did want to end the show with the beauty of the Amazon basin. It is just a gorgeous place, but it is not very well kept. There's a lot of dirt, trash, sewage. The water is not healthy at all. And you'll notice the different safety issues as we took this trip through the Amazon, and I'm sure you can come up with many different potential health problems. So hopefully this windshield survey was beneficial, and your instructor now will walk you through the rest of the assignment. Thank you.